Fair Use Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. August 13th, a clean sweep. And third, having thus cleaned away the debris of the past, we consider how, with our newfound knowledge of ourselves, we may develop the best possible relations with every human being we know. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 77. As I faced the eighth step, everything that was required for successful completion of the previous 7 steps came together: courage, honesty, sincerity, willingness, and thoroughness. I could not muster the strength required for this task at the beginning, which is why this step reads, became willing. I needed to develop the courage to begin, the honesty to see where I was wrong, a sincere desire to set things right, thoroughness in making a list, and willingness to take the risks required for true humility. With the help of my higher power in developing these virtues, I completed this step and continued to move forward in my quest for spiritual growth. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, August 13th. I put my sponsor on a pedestal. I looked to her for all the answers and saw her as my mother, friend, mentor, a goddess. She appeared to be more than I could ever be. She was perfect. One day she made a mistake and fell from the pedestal on which I had placed her. How could she be so human? How dare she display such imperfection? At first I felt frightened and abandoned, but my sponsor's slide from grace led me to see that I was responsible for my own Al-Anon program. I found that the answers she had given me were simply her own experience, strength, and hope, along with her understanding of the 12 steps of recovery. I learned that the tools of the program are available to me too. And I learned that although she was my sponsor, we were both changing, stumbling, growing members of Al-Anon. Most importantly, I learned that setting a human being up to be perfect creates inevitable failure. Today's reminder: have I put someone on a pedestal? Am I encouraging anyone to have an exaggerated view of me? Al-Anon helps me to see that while we offer mutual support, we must learn to rely on ourselves. Today I will remember that my answers lie within me. Sponsorship is a friendship made of 2 members learning from one another. 2 people learning a new way to live, one day at a time. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. August 13th. Difficult people. By giving unconditional love, we become more loving, and by sharing spiritual growth, we become more spiritual. Basic text, page 103. Most of us have 1 or 2 exceptionally difficult people in our lives. How do we deal with such a person in our recovery? First, we take our own inventory. Have we wronged this person? Has some action or attitude of ours served as an invitation for the kind of treatment they have given us? If so, we will want to clear the air, admit we have been wrong, and ask our higher power to remove whatever defects may prevent us from being helpful and constructive. Next, as people seeking to live spiritually oriented lives, we approach the problem from the other person's point of view. They may be faced with any number of challenges we either fail to consider or know nothing about. Challenges that cause them to be unpleasant. As it's said, we seek in recovery to forgive rather than be forgiven, to understand rather than be understood. Finally, if it is within our power, we seek ways to help others overcome their challenges without injuring their dignity. We pray for their well being and spiritual growth and for the ability to offer them the unconditional love that has meant so much to us in our recovery. We cannot change the difficult people in our lives, nor can we please everyone. But by applying the spiritual principles we've learned in NA, we can learn to love them. Just for today, higher power, help me serve other people, not demand that they serve me. Today, Emotions Anonymous, August 13th. Reflection for today. It has been said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. This is why a hostile man lives in a hostile world, and a loving man lives in a loving world. It is the same world. It is how I perceive it that counts. I have a choice, and herein lies my accountability. It has also been said, as a man sows, so shall he reap. I must realize that thinking, feeling, or acting negatively begets negative results. What I put out, I shall receive. The effects of my words and acts have a profound impact in my world and on others as well as myself. Meditation for today. May you work through me to radiate calmness, trust, generosity, truth, justice, forgiveness, acceptance, and love. Today I will remember happiness and good come to me in their highest form, not because I seek to absorb it, but rather because I seek to radiate it. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. August 13th. Language. We recognize a spectrum that transcends language and trauma. We recognize the light in ourselves and others. BRB, page 438. In our dysfunctional families, many of us held our heads down because we consistently heard language that was meant to shame us. We were told things like, I'll give you something to cry about. Who do you think you are? Something special? If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. What are you, stupid? And can't you do any better than that? These negatives became so ingrained in us that we still hear them inside our heads from our critical inner parent. In ACA, we learn to hold our heads high as we hear different affirming messages like one day at a time, first things first, easy does it, and keep it simple. They remind us to be gentle with ourselves. As we recover from the hurtful language of our childhoods, we start by acknowledging the harm it has done. We affirm that we are not defined by these shaming words as we tell ourselves that crying is okay, that we are special human beings, that we don't have to be perfect, and that we all make mistakes. It's what makes us human. These positive assurances help us finally explore who we were meant to be. And as we heal, we are able to provide similar assurances to others. The affirmation reads, on this day I will make a conscious effort to think only positive things about myself and my abilities as I learn to undo the damage of the past. Please share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be. To remember that you are not alone and that recovery is possible, one day at a time.